Hello, Sarah with sarahpacaro.com. I wanted to share an insight into a topic of discussion that was recently brought up, and that was around boundaries, that was around standards, that was around self-respect, that was around the topic of relationships and dynamics within relationships, and especially when it comes to toxic, unhealthy, manipulative, and abusive relationships. And what happens? What do we need to do? Where do we need to go once we've experienced those? Because when you've experienced those, you're left feeling completely lost, completely confused, jaded. It just you you don't even know where you are. Where do you stand? Where are you? Where am I? Like who am I? Are the types of questions that your mind begins to dive into and ask and really, really seek deep, meaningful, connected answers to. I know personally those were the questions that I had about myself. And there was connection around worth, there was connection around deserving that wasn't serving me. There was a belief, a connection to a belief that I deserved to be treated this way, even though when I heard myself say that out loud, there was an type of response. No way, no way, no way. I'm a kind, caring, loving, compassionate person. I always have been. I hope always to be. But I noticed and experienced myself changing, myself developing anger, resentment, myself being in a way of being that wasn't me, that didn't feel like it was of me or from me, but it was. There was a logical, conscious understanding that this is who I am, and I can look back and see the things that I've done, and want to lie about it, want to manipulate, want to contort the story because, well, I didn't want to be seen in a certain way. I didn't want to be seen as a certain way of being. Who, me? And there were people, the people that I hurt the most from the people who hurt me the most, that knew that that was my way of being. And there was a question of believing, there was a question of deserving. What did I do to deserve this? Especially in the ending of very manipulative, very abusive, very toxic relationships, that I would ask myself, why did I deserve this? And the topic of conversation that was brought up recently was, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you stand for. And I felt like, well, then I said I was standing for truth. I said I was standing for honesty, for integrity, and that's what I was begging for, to be present within the relationship. I didn't believe that I deserved this, and I believe that I was standing for, at least hoped that I was standing for consciously, for the belief that I could have a healthy relationship, or I could say this, or I would be someone that someone respected being with. And clearly, I was not respected in that relationship. I was constantly lied to and manipulated. And once I really, really committed to doing the deep inner work and transforming my own unconscious beliefs that I had and held about myself, and connecting with where those came from and how they became to be present and manifest in my life and be a part of my current reality, I saw that I stood for lies, I stood for manipulation. And I had this expectation that others in my life who would hurt me, that I thought that they needed to change, that I thought that I stood for truth and honesty, but I wasn't being truthful and I wasn't being honest with myself to see that the external relationship I was in was a match and a mirror of the internal relationship I was in. The relationship I had with myself, I had no word, I had no truth, I had no value, had no integrity. When it came to being honest with myself, I'd say one thing and do another thing. And when all of that came to be, it wasn't that just I wasn't getting what I deserved, I was getting what I stood for. There's truth to that, but an even deeper truth to that is I was getting what I believed. So everything was working out perfectly, beautifully, the way it was meant to, because there were deep internal beliefs. So we've got unconscious beliefs, and then we've got what we stand for, and then we have what we deserve. I thought that I deserved to be treated better. And I was trying to take a stance for change, trying to take a stance for truth. But I wasn't being truthful with myself. I was saying one thing, but believing another, because that is the foundation of how our lives play out, is through the beliefs that we have. And I didn't believe that I was worthy of being treated a certain way. I didn't believe that I was deserving of a loving, kind, caring, compassionate, supportive relationship. Yet I was saying that that's what I stood for. but you can see the misalignment. You can see the energetic mismatch. You can see the difference in frequency. Here's what I believe, but here's what I was standing for. And then I was getting what I deserve. But they say you don't get what you deserve, you get what you stand for. But even more than that, look at what that is standing on. It's all standing on unconscious beliefs. I unconsciously believed that I wasn't deserving of a loving relationship. I didn't have a loving relationship with myself. I had a relationship with myself that was formed and based around manipulation and lies. I would say this thing and then I would do this thing. That's what I stood for. And that's the type of relationship externally that I found myself that matched and mirrored the one that I was in internally. See, everything is working out exactly the way it's supposed to. And it's to get us to wake up. It's to get us to realize that the relationship we have with ourselves, with our own internal beliefs, we can say all these fun acronyms and sayings. You don't get what you deserve, you get what you stand for. I stand for truth. I stand for honesty. But when we're looking in the mirror, when we're using our eyes as the windows to our souls, and we see that our soul is standing on the foundation of unconscious beliefs that, yeah, that's what we're standing on. Here's what we believe, and here's what we're standing on, and here's what we're getting. But we don't get what we deserve, we get what we're standing on. But even further, even deeper, to expand that, we get what we believe. And I was getting exactly what I believed. And it was a reflection of the relationship I had with myself. So we can say whatever we want to say, but we're going to receive what we believe. So you can say that I want this, I hope for this, I pray for this, I desire this. But if we don't believe that we're deserving of that, we don't believe that we're worthy of it, we're going to get what we believe. So we're going to get chaos, we're going to get confusion, we're going to get irritation, frustration, because we don't believe in our worth. We don't believe in our value. We don't believe in the expansiveness of worth and value. We just believe that, no, I'm not getting what I deserve. I'm getting what I'm standing for. And I'm standing for respect. I'm standing for truth, but not really, because I say this, but I do this. And there's a misalignment in frequency. There's an energetic mismatch. There's a, wait a minute. You're saying this, but you're doing this. Yeah, but don't say anything. Why are you doing that? I don't know, because I believe this. So when we really, really take a look deep and within, you see that you're getting what you believe. And that's what I was able to see. That was like the veil that was torn, that I look and I saw, ah, I actually don't believe this. And a deep dive into understanding why. And so many people want to understand why. We've got to take a deep dive inside. You've got to take a deep dive into your own internal and conscious beliefs, because that's where everything lies. It's not just deservingness standing on, it's the beliefs that you have. So that's an element of it, that's a component of it. But that in and of itself is not enough to say, I don't deserve to be treated this way. I'm standing for this. People who've benefited from you not having boundaries, when you become woke and you wake up and you realize this and say, I am now going to have higher standards and set and implement boundaries and consequences to them, they laugh at you, they mock you, they ridicule you. And you begin mocking, laughing at, and ridiculing yourself, that inner voice inside of you that's like, good luck with that. You really don't believe that you're deserving of that. And so not only are they this external critic, you've got an internal critic that's partnered with them, and it feels like they're tag teaming, and it feels like, well, a numbers game, 2 to 1. Well, who am I? Right? The transformation of the inner game begins with really connecting deeply with what you believe internally, because it's not just what you deserve, is what you're served, is what you stand for. It's what you believe. It is your deeply rooted internal beliefs that set the stage and the foundation for the navigation and the direction of your life and all of your relationships in it, your relationships with yourself, your relationships with others, your relationships with the world at large and the world around you. Everything is laying on a bed of beliefs. So those are what needs shifting, transforming, changing, transpiring for anything in your world and in your life to be different. So when that is what you're ready for, let's connect. You can find out more at sarahpacaro.com. Sending so much love. Until next time, bye for now.